Tonight on NewsWatch, a push for more investigation into the Benghazi terror attack. The new emails that are raising questions about the administration's response to the deadly strike. Plus, from tornadoes to floods, millions of Americans are cleaning up after this week's storms. And how freedom of speech is under fire right here in America. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Growing evidence of a cover-up in the Benghazi terror attack. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin. Republicans and even some Democrats are calling for a select committee to investigate. A House panel heard more testimony today that military leaders had dismissed the idea the attack that killed 4 Americans stemmed from a video. But the White House claimed for weeks the video was the source of the attack. John Waggy has tonight's top story.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm?
18 months after the attack, the probe continues. House leaders say they'll press on, armed with thousands more documents they're just receiving.
We do so because the American people, more than anyone else in this body, have the absolute right to know why 4 men are dead in an attack that could have been prevented.
A former military intelligence official testified that the U.S. knew almost immediately that the attack on September 11, 2012 was terrorism.
But what we did know quite early on was that this was a hostile action. This was no demonstration gone terribly awry.
The Obama administration has insisted from the beginning that intelligence sources were responsible for Ambassador Susan Rice's post-attack talking points, in which she blamed an anti-Islamic video for the killings.
In reaction to this very offensive video that was disseminated.
But her instructions came in a White House email written by political aide Ben Rhodes, who urged Rice to, quote, underscore these protests are rooted in an internet video and not a broader failure of policy.
The White House produced the talking points that Ambassador Rice used, not the intelligence community.
The White House only recently released the emails because of a lawsuit under the Freedom of Information Act, and that has turned up the heat from journalists, including ABC's Jonathan Karl.
Why were you holding back this information? Why was this email not turned over to the Congress? This is directly relevant. Why did you hold it back?
John, again.
Why did it take a court case for you to release this email?
John, I can say it again and again, and I know you can keep asking again and again. This document was not about Benghazi.
Democrats claim the Libyan situation was mired in confusion and that the focus should be on preventing future attacks on embassies and consulates.
People can play politics with a tragedy all they want. The fact of the matter is, at the time of the tragedy and even to this day, Libya is a very unstable situation post-revolution.
But a central point emerging from the hearings is that the White House perpetrated Benghazi talking points that officials knew weren't true in the heat of a re-election bid. And it's likely that lawmakers will keep looking for answers to the question former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton posed in an earlier hearing.
What difference at this point does it make?
John Waggy, CBN News.
Joining us now with more is Jordan Sekulow with the American Center for Law and Justice. Jordan, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney called the idea of a cover-up over the talking points on Benghazi a, quote, bogus GOP conspiracy. What do you say to that?
It's politics. And remember, the Benghazi attacks were right before the November presidential elections in 2012. And the Obama administration, and you remember President Obama had talked a number of times throughout that campaign about al-Qaeda being on the run and al-Qaeda almost not existing anymore and no longer being the same kind of threat it was. And to admit that there was a coordinated Islamic terrorist attack by al-Qaeda affiliates that killed 4 Americans, of course, undermine that entire message. And so we've now seen from an email that had to be released because of a court order. And important for everyone to know, Jay Carney has claimed that this email wasn't about Benghazi, and the court order was only about Benghazi information. So if they felt like they were compelled to release it by the court, it was because it's Benghazi related.
Jordan, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is calling the email a smoking gun. Do you agree?
We do agree. You know, this has been what people have been missing. This email initially was released to Congress, but it was heavily redacted, so you could barely see what was in it. But what we are seeing now is that a couple of days, and we can't forget this part either when politics are at play, Hillary Clinton was talking about this video being the inspiration and protests and of course the opposite of a coordinated terrorist attack, but something that was spontaneous. Remember, she said the thing about 4 guys walking down the street, a group of guys saying, let's kill some Americans tonight. She said that in one of her final testimonies before Congress. This was being said days after. And so this email came to prep Susan Rice, who was then the UN ambassador for the United States and now is the national security advisor to President Obama at the White House. And it was to prep her for, remember, everybody knows, she did all of the Sunday news shows. Likely why she's not Secretary of State right now is because she went on those shows with the talking points that we're now reading that had no mention of the word terrorism, and it's not in the email either, no mention of an actual coordinated attack, but instead all about a video, which the CIA has said they never told the administration that they were concerned that a video had inspired this attack.
How potentially damaging to the White House is all this?
Well, that's up to the American people at this point. You know, it is ultimately the cover-up is usually the big problem in Washington. That's the top scandal. And this is a dangerous position, and there's why everyone should care that's out there right now. Because if we allow Congress or politicians, and the president as well, to use our intelligence capabilities, to use our military, and then misuse their talking points to try and put together a political message, that we're going down a dangerous road that will be repeated again and again and again. The military, our intelligence apparatus are not to serve the political interests of our elected leaders. They're to protect America and our national security interests. And that's why it's more important than just some talking points. Of course, it's about the 4 Americans who were killed and not letting this happen again and not letting the misuse of our military and intelligence forces.
All right, Jordan Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice. Thanks for your time, sir, and for breaking it down for us.
Thank you, Mark.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Africa promoting peace in South Sudan. Violence between ethnic groups has been raging in the country for nearly 6 months. That despite the presence of United Nations peacekeepers. Now, foreign ministers from Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda are meeting with Secretary Kerry to figure out how to help end the crisis. With millions in need in the country, they say time is crucial.
Currently, the United Nations estimates that some 5.9 million people in South Sudan are in need of humanitarian assistance. Those numbers will probably only go up as the rainy season bites and people run out of food.
What is critical is that the hostilities have to be ceased and that both leaders come together so that the people of this country, South Sudan, not be betrayed.
The United States has threatened sanctions against South Sudan if the violence doesn't end soon. Outrage is growing over the Nigerian government's failure to rescue the more than 200 girls kidnapped 2 weeks ago. Several hundred people marched in the Nigerian capital today, demanding both answers and action from the government. Caitlin Burke reports.
Scores of girls and young women kidnapped by an Islamic terrorist group in Nigeria are being forced to marry the men who took them. Their parents say the girls are being sold by members of the Boko Haram terrorist network for $12. As impatience mounts, authorities aren't talking.
The government has been very lax about providing information. We have conflicting information. As of now, we don't even know the number of girls. 200 is 234, is 219.
Hundreds of people braved heavy rain on Thursday as they marched to the National Assembly, demanding the government do more to find the girls and bring them home.
We want something done now!
One community leader says Boko Haram is demanding a ransom for their release. Others believe they've been moved across the border into Cameroon or Chad.
The federal government seems to be more concerned with the World Economic Forum because every statement they issue seems to be assuring foreign delegates that there's nothing problem, Abuja will be safe. How can Abuja be safe when the rest of the country is in mourning?
Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
In other news overseas, pro-Russian militants are seizing more government buildings in eastern Ukraine. Scores have been overtaken in the past months. Now Ukraine's acting president says police and security forces are unable to control the growing unrest in the country. Meanwhile, Vice President Joe Biden is speaking out in support of Ukraine's embattled interim leaders.
They have been flat violated. What Russia has done violates not just Ukrainian sovereignty, but the fundamental principle that European borders will not be changed through political intimidation or military force. And we have to be resolute in imposing cost.
Despite the situation, the country's presidential campaign is moving ahead. The worst flooding in decades has swamped areas of the Gulf Coast. It's part of the same weather system that spawned deadly tornadoes earlier this week. So far, the violent storms have killed at least 37 people in 8 states. George Thomas has that story.
Flood warnings remain in effect all along the East Coast. Days of relentless rain, too much for creeks and streams to handle. The floodwater has engulfed cars, homes, and in Baltimore, it actually caused this road to collapse, sending cars tumbling over the edge of the ravine.
The sidewalk's gone, the cars are gone, and everything just fell. It was like somebody came by and just ripped off the side of the road.
Pensacola, Florida got almost 2 feet of rain in only 24 hours. That equals about 9 billion gallons of water, the most rain the Florida Panhandle has seen in a generation. Hundreds of residents were forced to leave their homes, canoeing to reach higher ground. Other motorists were trapped in their cars for hours, waiting for help to arrive. Operation Blessing arrived in Pensacola late Wednesday. Tonight, teams are going out into the community and offering aid to flood victims. This is the same massive storm system that unleashed at least 65 tornadoes, causing so much destruction across the South. Operation Blessing is also in Tupelo, Mississippi. Many of the residents there lost everything.
Basically, everything looks kind of like, I would imagine, a war zone would look. Operation Blessing has been a true blessing. It's living up to its name.
Parts of Florida, Alabama, and North Carolina are still at risk for tornadoes, but weather experts say by the end of the night, the massive storm system will head out to sea. George Thomas, CBN News.
Wow, that video is incredible. For more on the work of Operation Blessing and how you can help, go to cbnnews.com. Coming up, the couple that prays together stays together. A look at the truth behind that saying.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you're on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. Call the Health Hotline right now for details toll-free. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to receive these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Call right now for details toll-free.
Operators are standing by. Call 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143. Again, 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143.
A new study from Brown University suggests divorce could be contagious. Findings show if a friend or loved one gets a divorce, that raises your chances. Researchers conducted the study in Massachusetts. They discovered 75% of participants were more likely to end their marriage if a friend was divorced. 33% were more likely to divorce even if that happened to a friend of a friend. Researchers call it social contagion, and that's the spread of attitudes and behaviors through friends, family, and social networks. Studies show married people with deep religious commitments, however, are more likely to be happy and less likely to divorce. Heather Sells has us look at the link between faith and healthy marriages.
For decades, the old saying, "the family that prays together stays together," was viewed as one of the foundations of a happy marriage.
It was very dark. There was no love there. Alcohol had come in.
I think it was bringing the Lord into our lives.
For Tom and Liz, their faith made the difference in their marriage. But a 2004 Barna survey rocked the Christian community when it found no difference in the divorce rate among Christians and non-Christians. But today, researchers say that's not the whole story. They found that for couples who regularly attend church, the divorce rate drops by 35%.
Folks who are going to church are more likely to be praying regularly, to be in some kind of fellowship with people who take their marriage vows seriously. They're more likely to get the support that they need, the emotional support, the social support, to navigate the shoals of married life.
That doesn't surprise Pastor Bill Tehanchuk. His counseling ministry helps couples from all backgrounds. And Tehanchuk finds most of those seeking help are only marginally involved in church.
We have seen the best or the most success with, in terms of people who have successful, happy marriages, are those that are consistently involved in the full life of the church.
Tehanchuk believes that commitment, plus reading the Bible and praying together, is the best way to build strong marriages.
You know, one of the old sayings that I can remember growing up is that the couple who prays together stays together. And I really believe that.
While there's no hard information measuring the effect of prayer on marriage, Wilcox has found a connection.
When couples pray together, when they have a sense that God is present in their marriages, it's strongly associated with having happier marriages, more fulfilling marriages among American couples.
Surveys also show that couples are happier when they attend religious services regularly. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, why left-wing intolerance could be hurting conservative speech in America.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Liberals often talk about tolerance, but many on the left don't seem to be tolerant of people or ideas they disagree with. As Dale Hurt explains in tonight's Focus Report, that could lead to the end of free speech in America.
The head of Mozilla, maker of the Firefox browser, forced to step down because several years ago he was against gay marriage. Brandeis University withdrew an honorary degree to Hirsi Ali, an internationally acclaimed champion of women's rights and a victim of female genital mutilation, because her opposition to Islam was deemed offensive. Free speech is being hounded, demonized, and shouted down by what some call a new left-wing fascism that will not tolerate any views it doesn't like. And if you want a glimpse into how bad it could become in America in the future, look to Europe. In North Korea, they would just shoot you, but in Europe, they brand you a racist, and then you're effectively shunned and blocked from the media. And in most cases, the general public never hears your views. But we're not even talking about real racism. If you're against radical Islam or against immigration, you can be labeled a racist. Wave your nation's flag too much and you're a fascist. Take American conservative values of God, country, and traditional family to Western Europe, and you'd be branded extreme right, anti-woman, homophobic, and even Nazi. And should you be brave enough to actually demonstrate publicly for a conservative cause, you could be physically attacked. Or in Sweden, your home might be wrecked.
You could get beaten up. We see that in Sweden, by the way.
Danish journalist Lars Hedegaard publishes the Scandinavian online newspaper Dispatch International, along with Swedish journalist Ingrid Carlquist.
You have these so-called anti-fascists coming to known sort of right-wingers' homes and wrecking their apartment. Destroy the furniture, the pictures, tear up the books, and, general destruction. And then they make a video of it and put it out on the web. See what we did to this guy.
Under the banner of fighting racism, left-wing radicals terrorize those who dare to speak out against multiculturalism. Kim Mueller is considered the leading expert on the extreme violent left groups in Denmark.
Today they call them anti-racists or fight for a better environment, a more humane society and so on. But the goal is to smash the democracy as we know it.
It looks like that they're against fascism, but you said they're really against parliamentary democracy.
Yeah, they're revolutionary communists. When you talk about revolution in Denmark, people will say crazy. But when we talk about it, when you say you fight racism, suddenly everybody is opposed to racism.
Throughout Western Europe, those who hold to American-style conservative values are the outsiders. Freedom of speech, which is supposed to mean the right to say things the majority doesn't like, is gone in most of Europe, including Britain, according to George Igler of the Discourse Institute in London.
No, Britain is not a country that has free speech. Britain is increasingly not a country that has the rule of law. We have populations who believe that they still have free speech. And then they do something, they just literally tweet something that a politician doesn't like, and a knock comes on the door. And they realize they don't live in the same kind of democracy that they thought they lived in.
Last week in Britain, Liberty Party candidate Paul Weston was arrested for simply publicly repeating the words of Winston Churchill, in which Churchill referred to the curses of Islam. It's a similar situation in France, where libertarian publisher Jean Robin described how the government and the media work to control information and what viewpoints people will see.
You can't really say it's a democracy with free media and a competition. It's an oligarchy. It's not a democracy anymore.
There are still conservative Europeans, and most of them cope by simply not expressing their opinions publicly.
Americans who look at Europe idealistically just don't have a clue.
Christopher Doss trains grassroots political activist for the Leadership Institute near Washington. But he studied at the University of Oslo in Norway and still works in European politics. He says America risks going the way of Europe, especially because most of our universities are training young people to be intolerant.
We're heading in the same direction as we unlearn liberty. As students go through 4 years or more of university college indoctrination, they become inculcated with the notion that all speech shouldn't be allowed.
And if this new fascism is not turned back, life for conservatives in America could become more of a challenge, as it already is for many conservatives in Europe. Dale Hurd, CBN News, Copenhagen.
Up next, why choosing a university was a little bit harder for one New York teenager.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Welcome back. High school seniors across the country are making their decisions over where to go to college. For one New York student, the options seem to be endless. That's because 17-year-old Quasi Inen was accepted to all 8 of America's Ivy League schools. The Long Island senior has spent the last several weeks narrowing down his choices and just announced where he'll be heading come this fall.
I'm excited and proud to announce that this fall, I'll become a member of the Yale University class of 2018.
We weren't expecting it, but it was very impressive, and we are so proud and so excited about all that he's achieved.
After graduating from Yale, he says he plans on attending medical school to become a doctor. He sounds like one brilliant kid intellectually, that is for sure. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Hope you'll join us next time.